so many old friends reaching out to me just because they were there when they saw me sing that. And I remember thinking I was going to throw up after that. I was so nervous.
I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. I ain't saying that you never took a toll on me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spout Podcast. I am your host, Tamara Dhia, and today I am joined by singer, songwriter, rising star, Max McNown. How are
Many
you today?
names.
Yeah, I know.
I'm doing good. How
And it's
are
only
you?
starting, right? You're gonna
I hope so.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna have a lot more slashes in the next few years. I mean, you're killing it.
You know, I've actually been. I've reached a stage where I'm starting to think about what I need my my fan base to be called, and I have absolutely no idea. So, for anybody watching this, help me decide. I don't have any ideas. There's
your
nothing.
army, right? Like,
Max McNown just doesn't have any. I mean, what the nouns? It just doesn't fit. No.
Yeah, the verbs.
Yeah.
So like millions of your fans, I first discovered you with your track "A Lot More Free."
I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. I ain't saying that you never took a toll on me. And for what it's worth, I can finally see that I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free. Yeah, I'm a little bit hurt, but a lot more free.
And it was one of those songs where you immediately are just like a gut punch, where you just feel it emotionally in so many ways. And I just had the honor of actually watching you perform it live. And as someone who's been to millions of shows, it's really refreshing when someone has that same vocal standard in person as they do on the record. And it was
thank you.
Really beautiful to listen to you play. And honestly, your whistling skills, like, very impressive. Because normally, if you've been in the music industry for a while, you learn that not everyone does all the little idiosyncrasies in music.
Yeah.
They're not always doing the whistles. You
Yes.
do it all. You're doing the harmonica,
thank
the
you.
whistle, the vocals. Where'd you get those skills from?
It's so interesting because I wasn't planning on actually pursuing music until I was probably 21, really. I always had just kind of the dream in the back of my mind, but I just never really thought that it could ever be a reality. So the whistling and the singing were just developed because the whistling I don't know, but in my house I don't know where it came from. I just started to I just enjoyed it, and so I just whistled a lot growing up. But my singing is definitely just from a family that loves to just sing around the house all the time. That's where I learned. I had 2 vocal lessons before I went off on my first tour. Other than that, I've learned everything I know from just like singing songs with my siblings in the house, just walking around. Yeah.
I mean, you just said that you initially weren't even going to pursue this. So I read somewhere that you were inspired by someone. Well, you were busking basically on San Clemente Pier in California.
That's right.
With your heart wide open, bridges that you burned, they are still there, just flowing. Bridges that you burned, they are still there, just flowing. Thank you. Have a great night.
For people that don't know what busking is essentially him and his guitar on the pier.
Playing for tips.
Playing for tips, yes. And as someone who's lived in San Clemente and has walked that pier many times and probably has stopped and watched someone busk, I think it's such a fascinating art for someone to try and kind of get out there. So I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard that you decided to start taking it seriously when someone started playing Zack Bryan music for you. Is that true?
Yes, in a way. I was street performing. I think the first time I street performed was probably when I learned maybe there's something with this whole thing. I remember I street performed for just an hour or so, and I made $90 in a taco.
Sweet.
And so that was that. I knew that there's something here, right? But the whole Zack Bryan thing came along. A woman named Jamie was walking on the pier, and she came up to me and said, "You sound so much like Zack Bryan when you're singing Tyler Childers. Have you ever tried singing Zack Bryan?" And at the time, I was so late to the Zack Bryan train that it's just something in my personality where I don't want to jump on a bandwagon. Sure. I want to try to find my own artists and support, artists that are maybe not as discovered yet.
Sure.
I'm not sure where that came from. That's just kind of how I am. But she said, how about you can be unique by singing his unreleased songs that are only on SoundCloud.
So let me go down the line. I wanna feel it all. Joy, pain, and sky. Let me go down the line. We all burn, 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 and die. So let me go down the line. We all burn, 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 and die.
I was like, all right, I'll check those out. So she messaged me 3 on Instagram, and one of them was called Get Out Alive, and immediately I just fell in love with it. So I sent her a video of me practicing it, and she posted it to a Zack Bryan fan page, and Zack Bryan's dad commented on Facebook, like, well done, bud. And from that post, Jamie's post, I earned like 50 or so followers on Instagram, and a lot on Facebook too. And that was the first time in my life that anybody followed me purely for music. And so that was, I think, if I could name one defining moment, it was seeing the names come up on my Instagram where I was seeing people that liked my voice, wanted to hear more of my voice. That had never happened before. So that's probably the very start.
That was like the inspiration, really, that kind of get us started. That's amazing. I love that. And you actually used a Zack Bryan song to audition for American Idol. Is that true?
I did, yeah. A song called Jamie, funny enough.
Yeah.
The woman on the pier is Jamie. My producer I work with now is Jamie.
Okay.
Lots of Jamies in the world. If you're named Jamie, just find me, because you probably have some sort of role.
Go on tour with him.
Yeah. So I sang Jamie, and yeah, that was my first audition song.
What was that experience like auditioning for American Idol?
It was super fun. I met some really, really cool people. I'm still friends with a ton of them. On my headlining tour that's coming in January, February, the Texas shows are being played by one of the friends I made at American Idol. Her name is Kate Gartner.
Nice.
So yeah, I stay in contact with so many people from that show, and I made a lot of really meaningful connections and had a really great time. It ended up just not really being for me. I got the golden ticket and I was super excited, but it just I felt I had already started to blaze the trail, and I didn't want that trail to be labeled an American Idol kid. I already had built something for myself, and I wanted to just continue on that path.
Yeah, I feel like Benson Boone kind of had that same sentiment as well.
Yes, Evan Honer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's working out.
Yeah.
You made the right choice.
Yes.
And I heard that you kind of started singing Justin Bieber songs before you kind of found your voice. Is this true?
I liked a lot of different music growing up.
I love Bieber.
When I was in middle school, I went through kind of a Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber pop phase in about, I think, sixth grade.
Yeah.
I think I was. And the reason I bring those names up is not, to call them out, or even I'm pretty indifferent about their music now. I mean, they're obviously famous for a reason. They're very talented.
Yeah.
But when I tried to sing their songs, I think Justin Bieber, it was "Mama Don't Like You" or "My Mama Don't Like You," and then Shawn Mendes was "Life of the Party." And I remember trying to sing their songs, and I would listen back. I was so young, and I thought, when you hear your voice in your head, it sounds one way, and then when you hear it on a recording, it's not even recognizable. And so I remember I was all excited. I got this mic for Christmas with like a half circle acoustic backing to it, and I was singing. I put my hand up on my ear to act like, because I just saw artists do that. And I didn't know what it did, but I was so little. I was like, that must help, So I just put it up there, sang a little ditty, and then I listened to it and I quit. Like I listened to my own voice and I was like, I sound nothing like these artists. My voice sounds weird. I hate it. And then I would give up. And that was a pattern that happened, 3 or 4 times. And it wasn't until I heard specifically Tyler Childers and Zack Bryan that I heard it, and I was like, those voices actually kind of sound like mine, especially Zack Bryan. We have a very similar tone. Yeah. And so that was super, it gave me a ton of courage to try, because I heard somebody that kind of sounded like me, and I was like, if he can write beautiful poetry and put it to, 4 chords, then maybe I can too. And that's that song Freezing in November. That's where that came from.
Which is a gorgeous song.
Thank you.
So you're saying I'm not a bad singer. I just haven't found my voice yet. Because I do the same.
I didn't know yet.
I'll hear it and I'll be like, oh yeah. And then I'll hear it back and be like, oh snap, I can't sing.
But I thought I was a bad singer. And listening to some of the voice memos, I was a bad singer in a lot of ways. I had no training. It took a lot of unintentional practice. Like, I just enjoyed singing in the car. I loved singing in the car, singing in the shower, just singing around the house. It was so fun. And so I wasn't singing thinking I'm going to get better so I can be a singer. I was just doing it because I enjoyed it. And then after singing enough of, Tyler Childers and Zack Bryan and kind of almost reteaching myself using them as the template, that's when everything started to work. I mean, the social media stuff covering Zack Bryan songs and Tyler Childers songs put me on the map in the very beginning.
Yeah. I mean, you're truly on the map now. Your single, A Lot More Free, has garnered over 89 million streams on Spotify. It charted on Billboard's Hot Country chart. So obviously you're doing something right. When did you kind of start to realize that this song was really connecting with fans?
That song was special from the very beginning, from its conception. I remember that song specifically. I got back the mix, the first mix, like just kind of a rough, songs go through phases in production. I'm not, for anyone that doesn't know, they usually go through several mixing phases before they reach their final sound. They get mastered and then they're ready to go to the world. So the first mix I got back of A Lot More Free, I actually had to pause it for a second because partially through the song I got choked up. And it was so emotional for me to hear. There's a lot of times in music where you have an idea of what you want the song to be, and then sometimes you get it back and it's nothing like that. And A Lot More Free came back to me exactly as I had dreamed that it would come back to me, and that it meant so much, and it just felt very, very special. It felt like more than music. And then that came to fruition right away with the trend of people posting travel clips on TikTok to A Lot More Free. It garnered a lot of reposts and people, putting their own videos to it. And a few months after its release, 30,000 people had made videos with A Lot More Free. And so that was just from there. It was just off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's connecting with so many people. It really is such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Talk about the lyrics and the track itself. Like, what's going through your mind when you sat down to write that?
Yeah, A Lot More Free, its essence is growing from pain. That's whether that's relational pain, familial pain, whatever you have fought through and felt freer on the other side of a victory of sorts. That's what the song is about. And so it's, the first lines are, leaves start falling when the cold wind blows and soon get covered by the winter snow. The birds start singing when the spring rolls around, flowers blooming through the thawing ground. And so that immediately just paints that picture of this is cold, this is a horrible time, I'm struggling, and from that, flowers will grow.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I feel like we all really connect with it, truly. Another song that you actually just released a cover of, one of my favorite songs, is Hey There, Delilah.
Oh, yeah.
And this was the first song you ever sang in public?
Hey there, Delilah, don't you worry about the distance. I'm right there if you get lonely. Give this song another listen. Close your eyes. Listen to my voice, it's my disguise. I'm by your side. Oh, it's what you do to me. Oh, what you do to me. Oh, it's what you do to me. Oh, what you do to me. What you do to me.
Okay, so this must be such a full circle moment for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I have so many old friends reaching out to me just because they were there when they saw me sing that, and I remember thinking I was gonna throw up after that. I was so nervous, and that was one of those times where I listened back and I was discouraged, even though I love it now. I look back and I see myself, I see imperfection, but I see courage to get up in front of a crowd and sing as an 8th grader, and so now I really love that video, but that was one of those where I heard my voice and I was like, man, I don't like it, and I think all this time has the privilege of hindsight and
It's
this
2020, right?
yeah exactly, this perspective now. I mean, I just posted a video with a transition from me singing in middle school at Rosemont Ridge in West Lynn at a lunch at an open mic, and I transition into me performing it with my band from a official performance video, and it's 100% full circle. It's truly the first song I sang in front of anything that resembles a crowd, and now I can't wait to perform it live a few times.
Yeah, I mean, you're about to headline your own tour.
Yes.
So do you still get those nerves before you step on stage, or you've kind of combated that at this point?
Yeah, I think you'd have to have done it for a very, very long time in order to not get nerves. But my nerves typically come within 5 minutes of the show. So I do a pretty good job of just distracting my brain. I usually, I'll be doom scrolling on my phone or playing games or talking to my band or whatever. There's a lot of different things that you just kind of have to take care of when you're on the road. And so I'll keep busy, and then it'll be 5 minutes to go time, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I gotta get ready, and I am a big believer in box breathing. So 5 minutes before the show, every single show, I say a quick prayer with the band, and then I in for 8 seconds, hold for 8 seconds, out for 8 seconds, rinse and repeat, and it just slows my heart rate. It gets rid of my shakiness in my voice, and that's how I deal with it.
Nice. And it's a very healthy way to deal with it. Your sophomore album, Night Diving, is coming out on January 24th. What can fans expect from this album?
Honesty. Night Diving is the most true to me album, and I've only released one other album, but I've learned so much, and I feel like I've grown so much in my journey already. And the first song I released is truly like the first song, maybe the second song I'd ever fully written in my life. So all of this is new to me. Writing music is new to me. Yeah. Every aspect of this is new to me. And Night Diving is just a further development of my writing skills and my ability to turn a writing room into kind of a therapy session of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, your debut album, Wandering, was critically acclaimed. So how does this album differ from that one?
It's just it's a bit of a different sound. There's a lot of similarities, but I feel like we almost experimented more with a lot of different styles and instruments and vocal melodies. I mean, Wandering didn't have any falsetto, and we have 3 or 4 songs of falsetto and in Night Diving, and that's a testament to the growth, because I was never. It's not like we didn't write those parts because we didn't like them. It was we didn't write those parts because I was not confident enough to do that with my voice. And so these songs that are coming are just as I've said, a further development in my career.
Yeah, and your vocal stylings, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So why is it called Night Diving?
Night Diving is the very beginning of the title track. I had a vision last night, night diving in Monterey, and that track is one of it had the A Lot More Free effect on me, and it just means so much to me, and so I just figured it was the right move to name the album after the most important song that I feel for myself. Every song relates in different ways to a lot of people.
Sure.
I've heard so many stories about A Lot More Free, and I'm like, that's not what it was written about at all. But I'm so grateful that it is resonating. So music can resonate for so many reasons, but night diving for me personally is so important, and so that's why I named it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Your single "Better Me for You" Brown Eyes is on the upcoming album.
You were there like an angel waiting. I didn't know you'd have brown eyes like the prayer to Jesus, spending Friday nights at home. Didn't know you'd be this strong, kind, deeper than a coal mine, loving with a heart of gold. And you're everything that I'm not, everything that I want. There's a God, and baby, you're proof in those brown eyes.
brown-eyed girl. I appreciate that you are giving the brown-eyed people of the world some shine. You know, they forget about us. So talk to me about this song and the inspiration behind it.
It's basically word for word truth about my life before and then after meeting my current girlfriend. So everything that is written in that song is just, I remember it was almost like an interrogation in the writing room. Ava, who helped me write that one, would just ask me questions about her and just be like, and we literally would just put them straight into the song. So it's like, I came in with the whole concept and the melody of the, I didn't know you'd have brown eyes, and then I had just kind of like a hum that for the rest of it, because I didn't have lyrics to fit it yet. And she was like, okay, just tell me about your girlfriend. What is she like? What do you love about her? And it was just nonstop, like rapid fire questions. And I was like, well, I love that she's strong in her faith, likes to pray to Jesus. Boom. I love that she is content. Just, she's not a huge partier. She likes to spend her Friday nights at home with her family, and and then boom, that's in there, So that was just a very, straightforward song. Yeah.
What was your girlfriend's reaction when you first played it for her?
She cried. Yeah. We were, outside of Buca de Beppo's in Nashville. Actually, I think it's a Franklin location. But we were outside of an Italian restaurant. I remember very vividly, and it was dark outside, and I played it for her, and that was a big moment to write a song for her. We were still fresh in the relationship, and so it was really, really special moment.
Yeah, well,
special song to me.
Here's hoping there's more songs about her.
Yeah. Oh, there are.
Yeah. Okay, great. We'll be on the lookout for those. So, obviously you've grown so exponentially in your career over the last year. What's been your biggest pinch me moment so far?
There have been so many. I would just two off the top of my head. Grand Ole Opry. The most, standing in that circle and seeing just that place was so magical. And not only the venue, but all of the workers there, everybody that makes that whole operation happen is so sweet and so just like welcoming. And it was just one of my favorite experiences I've had in all of music thus far. And then the second would be hearing a quite a full crowd sing A Lot More For You back to me. It was truly a moment I dreamt of. And so to see it happen, I remember hearing it and there was like a physical blowback that I felt, and I, my eyes welled up with tears. It was beautiful. And it was everything that I had prayed that I would do in music, to see all these people that have been impacted by my stuff.
It's kind of amazing to think about the kid that was standing on San Clemente Pier performing with his guitar and then standing on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. I
think it's really important to remember that too. I think this business is so, I was talking to Jake earlier, and the business is so go. It's so hustle that sometimes, as Ferris Bueller would say, you don't stop and take a look around once in a while. You just keep going. And so even stuff like this, I appreciate you even posing that question, because it's like I need to take time and think about, what has happened in this last year and how I've been blessed, because you can get lost in the hustle. Yeah. And to think about telling that kid on the pier what life was going to look like is it gives me goosebumps.
Nice. Yeah. We love that. You mentioned artists that you're big fans of. Zack Bryan, for example, you said that his dad had reached out or written a comment.
Dwayne.
Has Zack Bryan reached out to you at all yet?
No.
Yet?
Nope.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. Have there been any big name artists that have reached out?
Not necessarily. I think I've been I've toured with, like Corey Kent and Wyatt Flores and Sam Barber and the 502s and all these bands that I look up to. And so that's probably the closest thing that I could say to, I don't know about anybody that's reached out that's been, like massive.
They will.
But
they will.
Maybe someday. I don't know. I'm still waiting on the Benson Boone collab.
Yeah. That's my next question. Like, who's a dream collaboration for you?
Oh, wow. I did not even know that. Benson Boone, I love how he writes. I think he has one of the most incredible voices in all of music right now. But number one is definitely Noah Kahan. He's, as far as sonically, how I design my music and how I write, I take so much inspiration from Noah Kahan that it would be it's one of the people that I know I would be wildly starstruck to meet. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to get words out, so that would be the dream collaboration.
Nice. Yeah. Earlier, you had mentioned that you don't see yourself as just a country artist, which I thought was an important thing to say, because I think when people are kind of discovering a new artist, they try and put them into a pocket. And you had joked about Noah Kahan being put into country music categories.
Yeah. I see him on lists. And
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So what pockets do you put yourself in, if you do at all?
The way that I always answer that question is I'm somewhere, and I've talked to my producer about this when we're trying to decide, like, what is our music? How are we defining ourselves? It is somewhere in the forest of Oregon folk music, just kind of, or Northwestern, just kind of think pine trees on a coastal winding road, and that's the type of music that is on one end of the spectrum, and then on the other end, it's the country that I was raised on. It's the George Strait and the Merle Haggard and that type of there's a spectrum there, and all my songs fit in that spectrum, but they're not one or the other.
Nice. It's a good way to describe it, I think. Obviously you've been so busy. You're about to go on tour next year, about to drop your sophomore album. There's so much going on. What do you do with your downtime? Like, what are you doing when you're not making music?
That's a good question. I learned very quickly that when you have a passion and then that passion becomes your job, it's really easy to get lost in it. I learned that quickly, but didn't do anything about it early on, and that led to a lot of burnout. As I mentioned in front of the crowd today, I love playing video games. I love just
what video
detaching.
games are you playing?
Call of Duty.
Oh,
yeah, Warzone. I'm playing. That's the way it's a way that you can kind of lose yourself, detach from the everyday, stresses and anxieties, and you just play a game for a little bit. It's a little piece of what I don't know if it's cheesy or not, but I like to refer to the life before all this music as my old life, because it truly has changed so much, and it's a piece of my old life. I play with all my high school friends, and it's just a really cool way to ground myself. And funny enough, playing video games is the way to ground myself.
Hey, but playing Call of Duty, no less.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do have a big year ahead. What does it look like for you? 2025.
I'm not home a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not home a lot. We have our tour planned for January, February, and then we also have something in the works for the end of the year that's going to be bigger, longer. So that's going to take up a lot of time. My first festivals ever are in 2025, and I'm super excited because I hear that festivals are a great place to just meet other artists, and I think there's so much wisdom that I can take from people that have been doing it longer than I have, and people that could kind of show me the ropes and give me advice about things that I'm struggling with that not a lot of people that aren't touring artists might understand, so I'm really excited to meet just other artists at festivals. And lots of different things. I mean, shows primarily are the biggest thing of 2025. Lots and lots of shows. We're going out of the country. We're headed to Oslo and London and Australia.
Have you been to those places before?
Never. No.
Okay, great.
I've only been out of the U.S. once in my life. Well, now twice, because I went to Canada.
Canada counts.
To open for Michael Marchese.
Nice. Okay. Last time I was here, actually, we were interviewing Michael Marchese.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that dude. He was so awesome on the road. Such a kind headliner. It's always, I learned little bits from everybody that I opened for, and he taught me a lot about how to treat an opener, and I'm excited to have openers of my own and return the favor.
Nice. I love that. Well, congratulations on everything. I'm excited to see your career blossom. I'm excited to hear your next album.
Thank you.
And we'll see how 2025 blows up for you.
We'll see. Yeah. Don't jinx it.
No, there's no jinx needed. You're so talented. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
It. Yep.